Hello and welcome back to FCK The News. And the big one this week, what we're going to be talking about is Spurs. And Mauricio Pochettino. There have been loads of talk over the course of the last couple of weeks about his future and basically what's going on at that football club at the moment, because it doesn't feel like a particularly happy camp. Now, I'm delighted this week to be joined by the Spurs show. Just want to introduce ourselves, please. We've got
Theo Delaney.
Lucy Jones.
I'm Mike Lee.
We've got Mike. Thank you very much
for
joining us. A big thing that I saw during the week, which is kind of why I wanted to do this video in particular, was Pochettino out hashtags. This hasn't happened before.
No.
Where's this come from?
Idiots on the internet. Completely overreacting people who have no... Very often small children who have only been watching Spurs in this golden age that we're in right now and don't know what some of us have been through. Much, much, much darker times than this. But also people who are just knee-jerk and hysterical, which let's face it, that kind of social media reaction isn't just confined to football, as we all know at the moment. So it's absurd. I mean, no rational fan is calling for the head of Mauricio Pochettino. I don't agree.
I never ever thought we'd be talking about this. Honestly, I can't believe this is even a thing, because we haven't been either luck, have we, for the last few years?
But
and
people
love
are genuinely unhappy.
Yeah, of course
we are.
are.
Maybe a minority, but there is genuinely people saying it.
The culture thing was embarrassing, wasn't it?
Of course, if you go out to a lower league team of any cup, however it happens, it is embarrassing. But, you know, these things happen. I mean, you've got to stack that up against all the things he's achieved, you know.
It's interesting that Pochettino said recently this is not even his darkest time at Spurs. He again related when he first joined the club, and we had a bit of a dodgy start, and it was scored a free kick. We had a game, Stoke, I think, away.
Stoke at home was the nadir.
Yeah.
We lost at home and we were absolutely terrible. Then we went to Villa and won with the last minute
Villa. That was the last minute goal, Villa. And he, to this day, says that was tougher than where he is now. And I think the bottom line is, let's be honest, although we haven't won anything under him, which is a big bugbear for certain fans, you know, where he's taken this club from where we were is incredible. And he's a victim of his own success.
Yeah. He did say this week, though, in the press that he was suffering. And for me, as a complete neutral, from the outside looking at Pochettino, he doesn't look happy.
Yeah, but the thing about Poch, I think, I said this on the Spurs show, is that Pochettino is an emotional man and he's an open book. When he's happy, I mean, if you see any of that footage when we won in Amsterdam or, you know, when we won against City, he doesn't, it's unconfined, the joy. He's complete. But and equally, if he's going through a tough time, which he is at the moment, he's not going to look happy. He doesn't have a poker face. He's not putting on a front.
Of course,
what you see is what you get.
5 years of putting his heart and soul, and he's become friends with all the players. He's like their father figure. That's certainly what Harry says. And Sonny, you know, 5 years, and he hasn't really achieved. I mean, look, he got us to the final. We never thought that would happen.
Not the Champions
But he hasn't
League.
won anything. Of course, he's unhappy. He's a manager. He's a football manager. What's the point of a football manager? Winning stuff. And I spoke to Mickey Hazard about this, and he said to me, as soon as he wins that first thing, it'll just be that winning feeling will just be a bowler effect.
Whether he will win anything is another matter.
Because you're out of the Carabao Cup now, which was embarrassing, as you said. And then you've got the Champions League and also the Premier League.
Yeah, our only chance again, we said this most seasons, is an FA Cup one. We haven't won that since 1991. You know, so it's been a long time. And we might get in the third in the Cup away to Manchester City, away to Liverpool. And chances are that'll be it for another season.
But it's winning mentality. And it's us not crumbling at the final hurdle, which we seem to be very good at.
But there's a huge thing between fans wanting their day out at Wembley and winning a trophy to the financial, you know, the reality of football now, where getting top four, Champions League qualification, is better than winning a domestic trophy. That's the sad fact of football now.
And people have levelled that at you, that you're almost becoming the Arsenal from before, that they were seeing that fourth position and eventually it caught up with them, and now that fourth place is no longer guaranteed. Now, for Pochettino, we talk about his mood and how he's feeling and how he looks or how he appears. Do you think there is something within him that thinks, under the current regime, with the amount of money that he's been allowed to spend, looking at Man City and Liverpool the way they are, that he has perhaps taken them as far as he can?
Well, it's impossible to say, of course. Who knows what he thinks?
Because if he left Spurs, he would get...
He'd get a good job.
Exactly.
He'll be Real Madrid or Manchester United.
If I were Poch, I'd be like, I've wasted 5 years. What's the point of bowing out now? What is the point? Unless I think he needs to, he hasn't taken it anywhere near as far as he
Look, he's going to eventually go. All managers go, and he will eventually end up probably at Real Madrid, maybe
United.
PSG or Manchester United. I think absolutely. It's a question of when, I think, rather than if. The problem he has at Tottenham Hotspur, and all fans know this, is he works under a strict kind of wage structure. The money would go out. We're not going to go out and buy a Neymar or something like that. It's not going to happen. But he would have known that when he sat down with Levy. Yeah. So all this stuff about, he looks really angry. He's known all this. His bugbear for this season at the moment is supposedly there were certain players he wanted Tottenham Hotspur to sign. Yeah. And again, we didn't. We've ended up again with, the 3 players we brought in, we've barely seen. Yeah. They've all been injured at one stage or another. 2 are still injured. And we can't go out and buy ready-made world stars. We always go for the young player with potential that, with Pochettino's wonderful coaching skills, can get better.
Because it's okay.
Exactly. But the problem we've got is that team that he moulded from the start, who are in their sort of early 20s, are now older. Yeah. Some want the next big move, which they know they can probably get. And that's why there's an imbalance within the squad. Certain players he absolutely thought would be moved on, and for whatever reason that didn't happen, whether they decided they wanted to stay because they're earning more than the other offer was, or they want to run down the contract with a few of them are doing. This is the problem you've got. You've got a very unbalanced squad at the moment.
And I have to say, after that loss last week and after this recent run, I have been questioning what Tripp said a little bit in that.
What did he say again? Remind us.
He said something about being unhappy behind the scenes. Things are unbalanced. Things are unhappy behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And a couple of people on my
Spurs did go clarify saying that he'd been kind of misquoted and things were.
Yeah, he kind of backtracked.
Yeah, but he still said it, didn't he? Yeah. I mean, but a lot of my WhatsApp Spurs lot have said, is that Tripp's thing coming to fruition a little bit here? Is there an unhappy camp? I mean, the players the other day didn't look very happy playing, did they? They're a bit lacklustre there.
There's a problem, and even Pochettino mentioned it. We've been talking the show a lot about what's happened to the press. The Pochettino press was a sort of a trademark of Tottenham Hotspur. It's gone, and he even admitted last week, it's not happening, we're not doing these things again. There's lots of work to be done. Now, hopefully, because of the quality in the Premier League, and again, Liverpool, Man City will be points and points ahead of everyone else, I still think we are better on our day than Manchester United, than Arsenal, than Chelsea. And despite this doom and gloom at the moment, there's still a very good chance we can finish top 4. Yeah. So let's not get too carried away about it's all doom and gloom.
But also, it's a good thing that we're at the Carabao Cup in a way.
Could be.
Well, but are we as a club progressing? Off the pitch, yes. Result-wise, no. I think we all realised at the time the season Leicester City won the league was a really good chance. City, Liverpool obviously have now come again, and will we win the league in my lifetime? I don't know.
Might win the Champions League.
Well, people say it's easier to win the Champions League than the Premier League.
Theo, is this the first time under Pochettino's stewardship you've started to think about life without him?
No. No, because I'm not thinking about life without him really anymore.
You must.
No more than I have. I don't think he's close to the sack, and I don't. He's more. He might be close to walking, but I doubt it very much. Certainly not close to the sack. This is a blip, I think. We don't know, but I think this is a blip, and the reasons are pretty clear. That there's this unrest because, as Mike says, there are players who are coming to the end of their contracts, and understandably, Tottenham have always paid slightly below the going rate for wages. People like Vertonghen, Ericsson.
They could have earned so much more elsewhere.
And this is their last chance to get it because of the age they're at and the stage they're at. Now, interestingly, of course, Alderweireld could have gone for 25 million this summer. No one picked him up. So they think that. Their agents tell them that. It's not as simple as that, in fact. But you can't blame them for thinking it. Pochettino's big thing is spirit, esprit de corps, unity within the group. And if you've got several players looking to get out, for perfectly understandable reasons, but looking to leave, that is immediately compromised. And that unsettles things. And so he's got that. That is a problem. Equally, he's brought these players in. None of them have settled yet, mostly for fitness reasons, but also players take a long time. So suddenly, all the things that were happening that were good when we were flying, which was complete harmony, unity, no discontent really, that's for reasons that are not his fault, or indeed really anyone's fault, is now a bit up in the air. And I actually think, oddly enough, that thing about the press, the lack of a press it's almost a manifestation of that, because to get the kind of press we talked about, he almost invented it, Pochettino, is about 100% commitment at all times to the cause, doing things that are not pretty or you're not going to get a lot of headlines for, but doing it for each other. It's all about that spirit, and that has been slightly compromised. If it comes 5% off, you'll see it in the press. The only thing I would say, we've had one half of football this season where we've been just as good as we've ever been under Poch, and that was Palace.
One half.
But the second half was just a different team.
But the second half we were already winning 4-0, so you can understand it's like, let's not bust a gut here, we won this game. But so I think it's possible to get it, and I think it's possible for him to get it back. I think if it's 2 or 3 of these players settle in and start to really do things, Sessegnon we haven't even seen, and Ndombele's still settling in, Lo Celso's not fit. Some of the other players have suffered a loss of form, most notably Dele Alli. But if he can, and if the players that were kind of thinking about leaving, perhaps maybe Vertonghen will sign a contract.
I mean, the other thing that's sort of not talked about is when Pochettino arrived at Spurs, he walked into a dressing room that had senior players that weren't fighting for the cause, and he was able to shift them immediately.
Yeah.
Kabul, who was the club captain at the time, there was Kapue, Holtby, Adebayor, various players, and he had the young players Mason and Kane that really got the youngsters going. He's got the same situation now, but he hasn't been able to move them on. He's said many times, Rose, he's happy for him to go, Wanyama, Alderweireld, Eriksen. That's 4 senior players that play pretty much week in, week out, that he wants to move on, and he hasn't. And that has got to be a problem within any group of professionals working together.
Absolutely, and as I say, it's nobody's fault in a way. You can understand them wanting to get one last big contract somewhere else. I mean, when Eriksen says, I'd like to try something else, why not? You've got a 15-year career. Why wouldn't you want to try something? If I was him, I'd think, I'd like to give it a go in Spain.
I don't think we'd be surprised, would we?
No.
At all.
So I think the problem with Eriksen, though, has been, to me, he's almost becoming a bit of a Mesut Ozil. In the sense of, because of the way that he plays, and because you know that he'd like to leave, if it looks like he's not trying, and which he's one of those players, isn't he? He's a player plays number 10. Exactly. So now he's coming in for loads of stick. I've seen
How's he missing so many penalties, though? Let's be honest.
But exactly. But doing
it's a bit chicken and egg with him.
But we've got no one to replace him at the moment. Lo Celso was bought supposedly at some stage to take over that mantle. He's now injured to the end of whenever. So he's had to bring Eriksen back in the fold and play him. And this is the problem with squad imbalance. We don't have that ready-made player at the moment who's fit, who can just come in and go, Eriksen, who's Eriksen? This new guy's fantastic. And that's the problem in key areas. The centre-backs is another problem. He's got younger players, Sanchez and Foyth, and Tanganga is quite young. They're not ready yet. Sanchez has gone backwards in form from where he was.
Mostly because he hasn't had enough games.
And he's been out of position playing right back as well. So when he does eventually move on, possibly for Tonga and Alderweireld, who slots in immediately playing well. There's going to be imbalances for a while. It's just a question of how bad will it get, how bad will the results be.
And that's the problem if you're not buying ready-made players, isn't it? Trying to move those ones
especially in
back
that
out.
position, you need experiences everything. You need at least one centre back who has got a lot of experience. So that's going to be a problem. They may have to break that rule and bring someone in with experience.
And also the Harry Kane replacement. Don't forget, certain fans sort of malign Llorente, but he scored some really important goals in the Champions League. His contract was up. He was on supposedly about £100,000 a week at Spurs. Levy didn't want to pay him for that money for a fringe player, which you kind of understand.
100%,
And was offered a reduced contract. No, Napoli come in, we'll pay you that. Straight in the team, scored in the Champions League against Liverpool, scoring in Syria. And then for Pochettino as a coach, he wanted a player in the same stature as Kane who could come on with 10 minutes to go, hold the ball up and do stuff. He doesn't have that player. Now, luckily, at the moment, Harry Kane is not injured, but Kane's got now a history of ankle injuries. It can easily happen again this season. Who comes in? There's no like-for-like
Son
player.
will go up and play centre forward. And usually, we've had this conversation for the last 4 years, haven't we, about Harry Kane. And always what happens is Son comes in and he does okay.
And plays almost better without Kane.
As a centre forward. So, we always get through. But these
Isn't that bad?
No, it's not exactly.
I mean, look at City. They lost to Norwich, for God's sake. I mean, we all have blips, don't we?
You know what? Klopp didn't win a trophy until he won the Champions League, and he had to spend a lot of money buying those 2 key components. The goalkeeper and the centre half. you know, and as you said earlier, if you look, I'd rather be in our position than Arsenal's, Chelsea's, or Manchester United's right
Absolutely.
now. Definitely.
And just on that, because in our next video we're going to do Manchester United. They're playing Arsenal on Monday evening. And I think if Manchester United lose, I could find myself having a similar chat to
well,
what,
he
to
could
what we're
get
having
sacked.
now. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my question. If he gets sacked, Manchester United are known
They might
to
well.
like Pochettino.
They might go for Poch.
Well, they've wanted him before.
But do you think it'd be different this time around if Solskjaer got sacked for Pochettino?
Why would he go to Manchester United?
Because he may feel that he's taken Spurs as far as he can.
Because they've got more money
And
to
if he
spend.
went to Manchester United, he's going to be given £200+ million to spend, where he knows that Levy's never going to give him that.
Yeah, but he's also got to go there, and he's got an absolute basket case of a squad. He's got to start again.
They're not a team, are they?
They're not a team. It's a big, bloated, overpaid squad of people that he thinks it's hard moving people on here. Wait till he tries it there.
And remember his lifestyle as well. He might like London.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean, yeah, exactly. This is a man who's lived in. He's come from South America. He's lived in Barcelona, Paris, and London. I'm not sure Manchester's going to cut it for him.
What you mean?
But any concerns at all by Solskjaer and Manchester United? What's going on there?
Look, there's always going to be concerns. You know, whenever Real Madrid's the one, you know, Zidane in and out, Solskjaer, Man United. When you've got a good coach stroke manager, he's always going to be connected with other clubs. And when there's a dip in form, people go, oh, problems, Pochettino's not happy, he's going to walk. Again, recently, whenever you've actually heard quotes directly from his mouth, he's spoken about the next 2 transfer windows, what he wants to do at Spurs, do again. You know, there's so much speculation about him, but when you've actually listened to what he's said, I haven't heard anything yet where he wants to move on.
Yeah. Okay then.
It's like a therapy session, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I feel better. Do you know what? Lastly, then let's kind of give a good old plug to a podcast, etc. Where can people listen to the Spurs Show?
If you go to spursshow.net, or you can get us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify,
Acast, you name it.
Acast, most places.
Bebo, MySpace, all of them, yeah?
TuneIn Radio,
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
Yeah. Okay, well, guys, thank you.
Pleasure.
And I mean, maybe we'll do this in 6 months' time. Maybe a kind of a happy chat. But you know what? You've actually been far more kind of
positive than you expected. You're a bit disappointed, aren't you?
There is a tinge of disappointment. So hopefully, I'm going to be even more hopeful of a disappointment chat. Tune to next week's FCK News, where we are going to talk Manchester United. They are playing Arsenal next. And you feel that if they lose, it's going to be even more pressure on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. So we'll find some Manchester United fans, and hopefully they're a little bit kind of more down.
You'll find loads in London.
Yeah,
loads
you won't have to
so stay tuned for that one, okay?
Yeah.
Guys, thank you. Perfect.